Google, Bing, Yahoo, all starting real-time search services. What will the effect of that be?
I think it's great. You know, in general in search, you know, it's funny, a lot of people talk about Microsoft and how they dominated the browser for so long with IE, and there was this dormant period of inactivity in web browser development. And then all of a sudden Firefox came along and now you have Safari. I really think the same thing happened in search. So we had Google search for several years and it was the dominant one, and guess what? They didn't add a lot to it. You know, so we went several years without much innovation in search. And then all of a sudden, Bing, you know, Twitter came around, Bing was launched, and now you see even Google starting to change things a little bit, which they never would have done without that competition. So ultimately, I think we're just now starting to see more innovation in the search space again, thankfully due to things like Twitter and Bing and others. The other point I'll mention is, but again, they're focused on the social aspect of the real-time web. There's lots of other types of information out there that's interesting to capture and categorize and to be made available via search that's not just social. So it'll be interesting to see where that evolves and how we capture that other information.
The thing that Google and Bing, and I don't know of any search engine that does well right now, is recency is really important in the relevancy of your search if you're searching for real time. I don't care about what somebody said about a Suns game a year ago. I want to know what they said about it 5 minutes ago. And nobody's done a good job of that yet, of fixing that in their stream. Google, I think, is getting better at it. There are two startups, Collecta and Scoopler, that are working on kind of giving you an integrated dashboard across all of the real-time sources, whatever they may be. And so figuring out what the next PageRank is going to be, because PageRank doesn't really work for the real-time web. It doesn't work to parse out these individual bits of data when recency is important in some cases, but not in another. Figuring out how to parse that stream is what their big problem is going to be over the next 5 years.
Okay, lightning round. Okay, if we're all fortunate enough to be here in 12 months and we're doing the same subject, what are we talking about? A year from now.
I'll go with vertical categories as one filtering mechanism, whether it's stock twits, whether it's something like spitter.com for sports, whatever the topics are that you're most passionate about. I think we'll see the rise of vertical topics and vertical specialty sites.
I agree, but I don't think it will be necessarily on Twitter. I think there will be some vertical Twitters, federated Twitters that arise, kind of like Yammer does for businesses. I think that we'll see some others in an effort to get out of Twitter's shadow a little bit from their failures. And again, like Robbie had difficulties with them. Other people have difficulties dealing with Twitter sometimes too. So figuring out how to fix that, and I think the only way to fix it is to let a million Twitters sprout, I guess.
Jeramie.
I don't have a great answer for that, although I love Ocho Cinco's idea of kind of pulling all the athletes together into their own sort of Twitter network. So I could certainly see a lot more of that sort of thing happening, where athletes and celebrities are doing really reporting their own news rather than relying on the media. And that's already starting to happen, but I think it's going to become more and more mainstream for that to occur.
So I think Don and David hit it right on the head. You know, in 2008, I thought 2009 would be the year of Twitter, and then now I think 2010 will be the year of Twitter-like services, specifically in vertical areas, much like David said, where you're going to start to see targeted communities. You know, Gadget.com, if you're familiar with that, GT.com, is kind of along those lines, where it's a specific community around gadgets. And so you're going to start to see that with sports and other things that can't necessarily all reside on top of Twitter. So maybe it'll be a combination of integrating with Twitter plus producing their own type of platform. I think you'll see more of that.
Okay, I'd like to thank our panelists and thank you. And we'll have a short break and then on to the next group. Thank you.